Alright, okay. So the last part that we said we are going to look at is how you can get some of the manuals for, well, basically for anything that you do on Mitsubishi, whether it's the manual for the programming software or the manual for the specific CPU or any module that you are working on. And I've usually found that the manuals with Japanese PLCs are very good. Like, they're quite excellent, they get to the point, and pretty much they show you everything that you're gonna see and that you're gonna encounter when you are, when you're doing your configuration or when you're doing your programming. So they're really self-explanatory and you don't have to think much when you read the manual. So one of the ways that you can get the manual is if you go to your My Mitsubishi platform, and then you can actually search for the products or manuals relating to whatever it is that you want the manual for. In this example, we're going to be looking for the manual for GXWorks 2, and all you can do is at the top you can just type GXWorks 2 and then click OK on the search, and then on the downloads side you can just say show all results. So using our filter plane on the left, we can then select manual, and it's really going to define our search. And one thing that's useful to do is you can just click on English if you are looking for an English manual, a manual that's written in English. And then another thing that can help you is if you click on PDF, because most likely your manual will be PDF version. So then this shows you the various manuals that you can get for GXWorks 2. So for instance, if you want the beginner's manual, you click on it and then it opens up the manual, and it is quite a very nice manual. So if you're starting, it has very good examples and it really helps you to be very comfortable around the PLC programming software, which is quite cool. So if I go back here, these are all the manuals that relate to GXWorks 2, and then you can then select the one that suits you the best. And another thing is that when working with these manuals, Control F is your friend. Looking for any like keywords in the manual, like, it is quite good and it can save you a lot of time. Another way that you can do it, well, I don't recommend it, but not that I don't recommend it, I actually use it a lot. So if I'm in the field and on the fly, I just usually type the whatever I'm looking for on my phone and then just say manual, and usually I don't have time to go and sign into my Mitsubishi and whatever PDF that I can get my hands on, and then I just start reading from there. And if my phone can download it, then I download it with the phone, and then Control F on my, find on my phone, and then I can, I'll say 95% of the time when I use my phone, I always get a solution, because usually the manuals are that good. So now if you're already on your engineering workstation and you're working and you're doing your programming, and you need a manual for whatever it is, say you want the manual for GXWorks 2, there's something that you do not really understand. For GXWorks 2 and 3, if you go to help and then you say operating manual, it then brings up the manuals that came with the package when you installed it. So for instance, let's look at this operating manual, which is common. And one of the things that helped me when I was getting started on this, if you go to page 61, and if at page 61, let's just zoom in. You see on page 61, it basically teaches you how to use the programming software. So it tells you what something means, especially the icons that you see at the top, what they actually mean. And once you go through this and you've done some PLC programming before, you can see that, okay, I can relate this to whichever PLC that I've programmed. And especially things that are not clear, the things like labels that I had explained before, you will find it here. And all the things that might be confusing, the manual is really good in really getting you started and be comfortable with the programming software, even if you do not know how the programming software works. And yeah, so this is the wonderful part about the manuals. Yeah, with Japanese PLCs, I can vouch, Mitsubishi or Toyo Park, the manuals are quite excellent. And before, I was not a fan of reading manuals, but getting started with these manuals will really make your life very easy. The unfortunate thing that I've found is that there's not quite a lot of manuals available for GX Developer, but if you understand most of what's happening in GXWorks 2, you can then relate it back to GX Developer. Also, if you go on Google and search for the GX Developer manual, you will find some websites that still have it, and some of them want you to sign in and subscribe. So if you're really desperate, then that is an option, and that can be very useful as well. So then if you got interested interested in like more of the, I'll say, the advanced stuff, or if you're trying to go back and you're making a decision of should you keep a project on GX Developer or take it to GXWorks 2, if you're quite interested in that stuff, another thing that you can use, if you go to GXWorks 2 and if you click on the help, you can then go to GXWorks 2 help, and it then like shows you basically all the documentation that's available for GXWorks 2. For instance, if you go to this section here, changes from GX Developer, then you can see what has changed between the two programming software. So this is a feature that can be very useful. Then another tool that also comes with the programming software package is this e-manual viewer, which can be very useful. So when it starts up like this, and this is an introduction tab. You can just close it, and here you can like search for anything that you could be looking for, any keywords, and then it will bring up the topic or scenario or what you may be looking for that is closest to your search. Then if you go to the top left and select manual and then open that up, then this is quite good because it's a quick and easy way to find the manuals for a particular CPU that you're working on. Let's say, for instance, this category of CPUs, and if it's an FX5S that you're working on, you can just double click on this, and then it gives you this interesting document which can then refer you to specific documentation that you might need relating to that CPU module. So this would be for the FX, and then if you go down to like the Q CPUs, you can then open the different types that you might have, and then you can then get references to the particular documents that might help you. So this is a very good and useful tool to have at the back of your mind because it can be really helpful, especially when you're in a situation where you're not sure what to do and it's a situation that maybe no one has ever come across. This for me has definitely worked in the field, and it really provided some solutions that were very, very useful. So I guess that's pretty much around getting comfortable with the Mitsubishi environment, getting comfortable with the interface, knowing how to use the manuals. So in summary, the whole point of this video is just getting comfortable around the programming softwares, understanding how to select the controllers, because that's usually the first part that you have to do before you start doing any PLC programming. And then the good features, what is nice with Mitsubishi in terms of finding the manuals and using the manuals, and also using the programming software to pick up the manual for that programming software, and then searching and going through the manuals to see how you can use the manuals for your advantage in whether it's problem solving or it's development or maintenance.